Hey people, Indrid here, 3v3, Catherine Purification Plant, blue team. Kesuga7 with an Inquisitor, offensive hero with powerful control abilities, begins in melee but can get specialized ranged weapons. This is the Mordian Iron Guard elite scheme recolored alongside Peroncho Devaluador as a force commander. Very strong offense, fighting in melee combat, can also tank, disrupt and support, a very versatile marine. And rounding off the blues, 0rutyna0 as a Chaos Sorcerer, offensive and disruptive hero with powerful battlefield manipulation and control. Red team, Mostafa rocking a Farseer support hero fighting in melee, some powerful buffs and control. Just threw guide on some Guardians, Doom Bolts. Hit pretty well. Rocking the Exodites elite scheme here. Let's just see this play out, shall we? A mob of heretics closing in. Sorcerer just tried a special attack. Oh, the Guardians just run. Rounding off the red team, it's double Lictor alpha time, Mendicant bias, and Dark Riku. These are, ouch, melee specialists that infiltrate and disrupt, powerful offense, and a bit of support. Hammer of the Witches puts a dent in Dark Riku's face, and then he runs away. Formagorn's able to cap that wreck point though. Meanwhile, Mendicant bias goes through the mid and caps the natural VP of the blue team in the south. Natural for red in the north, and a contested on the western side. East side is a resource lane with the Farseer and the Sorcerer going at it. Double heretics here for 0rutyna0. Mostafa straight into some Rangers after the double Guardians. Oh, those guys didn't want to stick around, eh? Didn't even want to drop a single model of those Guardians there. Both of these guys have heavy cover. Doom Bolts coming in. I think they could have stuck around because Doom Bolts doesn't perform super well against units in cover, but I guess after that the Sorcerer would have closed for melee. Double Sentinel play here for Kesuga, which can be difficult for Tyranids to deal with. Basically need to invest in Raveners, I think, but Dark Riku invests in a Warrior Brood. Double Termagants can get their Toxin sacks up to give them some more DPS against the Sentinels. I wonder if they plan to just ignore them for now. Go after those Guardsmen and eat them. Inquisitor's got a little chunk of XP. Blue team getting a natural VP back thanks to Peroncho. Up in the northeast, Farseer decapping. Little bit of XP there too. And long rifles are in for the Rangers. Heretics with grenade launchers here. What about the other fellas? Double grenade launchers, so the Guardians can have a rough time with that, I think. They can also, disrupt with those grenade barrages. Is it time to threaten with Howling Banshees now that you're up against double grenade launcher heretics? I think it could do some work for sure. Get some Banshees up with Farseer support. Oh, we have the Ghost Helm to damage and suppress infantry with Mind War. 385 to 500 on the VPs. Guide thrown on the Rangers there. Meanwhile, west side is blue. Inquisitor grabs it. We have a multi-laser turret going up, and those two contested wreck points are both blue as well. Warrior Brood here for Mendicant bias. Dark Riku also has them. I suppose they provide the basic synapse you want, so perhaps they'll follow the Warriors up with Ravener Broods. Trying to get in on the Sentinels. They do have power melee weapons, these Warriors, so they'll mess up the Sentinels quite a lot if they could get into melee. None of these guys have their ground pound upgrade, so they can't really threaten those melee units very much. Here's the Warrior Brood of Dark Riku. Mendicant bias does have a Ravener Brood. Lictor Alpha kind of awkwardly chasing them there. Gets the pheromone, and this guy just got the ground pound up. Peroncho Devaluador with just tactical marines in play after the scouts, and the Sorcerer has fallen on that eastern side. Can Mostafa push off that? Looks like the Guardians took some damage doing it though. There's a Holy Pyre thrown up by Kesuga. Oh, fully kitted out Inquisitor already with Holy Brazier. Interrogator's armor for silently. Anything's going to be spotted by the Warriors though, and Rosarius. Anything she infiltrates will be spotted by the Warrior Broods that are detector units. Guardsmen trying to diligently repair stuff. Ravener Brood coming in, getting stomped. They have ranged Devourer weapons, which will help you shoot down the Sentinels from range. Having to retreat though. Lictor Alpha trying to be sneaky. You can upgrade the Sentinels to give them some detection. 364 to 484 on the VPs. Peroncho Devaluador just going tier 2. More heretics up for 0rutyna0. These guys in their default state. 8 fellas that will blow up and fight you in melee for the Chaos Gods. Grenade volley there doesn't really hit too much, and we do see Howling Banshees in play for Mostafa. Power melee squad, very dangerous on retreat path, just took down the Sorcerer there on retreat. Retreating unit taking 30% more melee damage, and Banshees are very good at getting into position and punishing that. Are you Heretics going to get involved? There we go, there's a Doom Blast. They're getting very low though. Having to run. Banshees are tearing through the front lines with all that Guardian backup, and the Rangers of course taking pot shots. Farseer didn't really get involved. I guess she mind ward something and threw Fortune on the Banshees there. West side, Sentinel decapping. Sentinels can decap points, but they can't cap them, which makes them even more annoying, of course, decapping your stuff. Red team getting through again thanks to Mendicant Bias. Does have the Adrenal Glands on these double Hormagaunts. Yep, on both of them. Dark Riku does not have Adrenal Glands. Does have double Toxin Sacs up, though. And a Dreadnought on the way for Peroncho Devaluador. That's going to basically eat both of these Tyranid armies up before they can get their tier 2s rolling. Although Dark Riku is on the way. And I imagine we're going to see them respond with Venom Broods perhaps dropped in when they spot that Dreadnought. Because Lictor Alphas can drop in Venom Broods. This is a, fully kitted out Lictor Alpha. Toxin Miasma for damage over time and a debuff on melee hits. Adrenal Glands for more health and regen and stuff. And the Pheromone that we saw earlier. Still nothing for this guy. We've seen the Farseer's things. Ogren's on the way for Kesuga. Nothing's coming to help out the Sorcerer at the moment. Blue team get their natural back. And the Inquisitor almost takes down the Lictor Alpha there. Warrior Brood leaping in, knocking her over before the Rosarius was up. And she must flee. Guardsman backing off. Warrior Brood going after that Sentinel, doing big chunks of damage. Gonna go down. Stomp couldn't quite come in there quickly enough. One Sentinel down. I hear Banshees war shouting, I think. Yep. On the east side, a lot of dead Heretics there. But they still have 3 squads of them. And a Chaos Dreadnought on the way. Perhaps Mark of Khorne, which the Sorcerer can support with teleportation. Some friendly 5 grenades there. The Farseer is not too happy. She now sprints towards the Heretics. Grenades continue to be painful, but they are pushing through. Banshee's doing a lot of work. And Havoc's as well. Here's the Dreadnought. So it's been spotted by Mostafa. They go tier 2. They already have Aspect of Strength. So if they get an Exarch up in tier 2, she'll have a Spear. Another Sentinel for Kesuga7. Here's the Ogryns. They have their Bonehead leader. He's got a hat on. You know, he could work out how to put a hat on. Allows them to use Your Red for disruption. These guys have heavy melee damage. They'll tear through anything. Double Zone Thropes up for Dark Riku. Artillery units with a supportive health regen Synapse. Don't do any friendly fire, but don't really have the range and damage of other tier 2 artillery. And there's Silently to infiltrate the Ogryns, and there's no warriors around to spot them. And they're going straight after the Zone Thrope. Zone Thropes are very vulnerable. Shield is up. Shield very quickly goes down. Where's the Toxin Sacs? There it is. Crippling Poison to slow down the Ogryns. And there's the Warrior Brood, which could have been useful earlier to spot those guys. So there's another Crippling Poison. Zone Thrope getting shots in. Zone Thropes do psychic damage, which is good against heavy and super heavy infantry. To kind of simulate the fact that it doesn't care about your armor, just goes straight to your brain or something. Warrior Brood did not like that fight though, with Holy Pyre up against the Ogryns, eh? Lictor Alpha getting through onto the VP. This is Dark Riku here. Gonna get grenaded. Nope. Can now go after the scouts. But I don't think he has enough energy to flesh hook them. There we go, there's a flesh hook. Meanwhile, a full power bash, perhaps, from Mendicant Bias. And Adrenal Glands in for the Warrior Brood. As expected, with double Hormagaunts, they now have the melee Synapse buffs, which are big health buffs and melee skill going up. And a Terminator Force Commander for Peroncho Devaluador just went straight to tier 3. Got nothing else onto the field, and Heavy Flamer Terminator Force Commander comes in. You can see the weakness through the mid, though. The amount of times the Tyranids have got onto that VP. And they've been holding this power, I think. Eldar using their webway, infiltrating themselves, because the Farseer webway can infiltrate stuff. And double Fire Dragons in play, looking for that Dreadnought, maybe. Oh, they found the Terminator Force Commander, who in this state has actually heavy infantry armor for some reason. Gets tons of hit points as well. But doesn't have commander armor and doesn't have super heavy infantry armor like other Terminators do. And down he goes. Banshees get a sync kill. Nice little surgical strike there. And it's going to be the Sorcerer trying to flank in. More infiltration thanks to the Rangers. And, oh, the Sorcerer gets away. But can the Dreadnought get away? There's some Heretics in there to support with a Doom Blast. But look at the damage from the Fire Dragons. Guide on those Fire Dragons as well. Yep, Dreadnought did not last long. Howling Banshees with a War Shout. Very good engagement for the red team there. 0rutyna still has all of his infantry intact, and the Sorcerer was able to get away. Might be tough to revive the Force Commander from there. Oh no, it won't. It's the blue side, you idiot. On the west side, Inquisitor's in a bit of bother. Level 2. Getting suppressed by a Barb Strangler Warrior Brood. And those double Zone Throats doing some work, eh? Can't really hit moving units very well. 261 to 392. A 2-to-1 for the red team, which have some big fat rosters at the moment. Mendicant Bias with a Tyrant Guard. Super heavy infantry, big old beastie. Can charge you, do a lot of damage. Can be vulnerable if isolated though, because he's very slow without Synapse support. Or without some capillary towers to support, but does have warriors nearby. The Heretics really don't want to fight him. He'll munch through them so quickly. Havocs here with a heavy bolter aren't much of a threat either, because the super heavy infantry armor will resist a bunch of that damage, and he can't be suppressed, of course. And Eldar coming in on the flank is always useful for you when you're a Tyranid. Grenades messing up some Heretics. 0rutyna getting hit 2v1 quite hard. Peroncho trying to help out. Kesuga had a really bad fight, eh? Sentinels battered and broken along the way. We got some Bulgarins in tier 3 though, with their slab shields and stuff. Yeah, so Kesuga's lost like 3 Sentinels along the way. And a Guardsman squad, I think. Never got Catechins or anything up. And is in tier 3 now, so could maybe bounce back relatively quickly. Terminator Force Commander's down again in a different spot. Lictor Alpha levels to 2 for Mendicant Bias. Any war gear for Riku yet? No. Almost level 3 though. Got some Mark of Zinc CSM. They will do a lot of damage to the Warrior Brood and to that Tyrant Guard. If they can stand and fight, of course. They need to be able to plant their feet and get some shots in. Isn't easy when there's Howling Banshees running around and Hormagaunts running around. And Tyrant Guards maybe charging you, and Lictor Alpha. So that could be tricky. Still have the Heavy Bolter Havocs. Powers being bashed. They are not getting the VP here, which I think they should be. Looks like these scouts are maybe going through to get the other VP. Grenade barrages coming in. Knocking down the Lictor Alpha. Doom bolts flying in too. Heretics having to flee. Lictor Alpha. I think maybe was Guide on the Lictor Alpha there. Terminator Force Commander's back to his feet. Gonna try and power fist the Lictor Alpha a bit. There we go. Boom. Have some of that. On the west side, Bulgarins getting through. Use your shield up, suppressing nearby enemy infantry and increasing the durability of the Bulgarins. And it no longer slows them down, right? I think when they use that. It used to slow them down a bit. He doesn't like it, that Bulgarin. He wants to run away. He's off. 195 to 392. Just yelled, ow, and I hate you, and it ran away. Stormblade on the way for Kesuga. They're going to have double focus warp blasts, but there isn't really any other anti-vehicle yet in Dark Riku's army. And we have Menacing Visage to terrify something away. On the east side, Mind War on the Chaos Sorcerer and a Flesh Hook, and a whole bunch of Tyranid melee means dead Sorcerer. Down he goes. 195 to 378. Oh, looks like Peroncho Devaluador had a game freeze at some point. Not sure when that chat was, but they have a Land Raider Redeemer now. He's still got the Terminator Force Commander as well. And to the west side with it, amazing support vehicle. Can reinforce and act as a retreat point, which is absolutely massive deal in a 3v3, because all of your team can use it. Howling Banshees, done such a great job since they came onto the field. What is the Farseer doing? She was like shuffle stepping there. Big old nuke from 0rutyna0, the Imperial Abyss. There's Fortune up on the Banshees. I think she was trying to cast something and like constantly getting in and out of range, the Farseer there. Banshee's able to withstand all of this stuff, eh? Maybe you should get some Robes of Torment, Mr. Sorcerer, because those Banshees are a menace. Blue team, are you going to cap, fellas? Looks like Electroshock Grubs hit the Land Raider at some point. But those guys aren't capping. They probably were capping, and then the Land Raider shifting around knocked them off it. But they're back to it. They are fast capping Tactical Marines as well. Meanwhile, Terminator Force Commander looks like he's on melee mode. Might be on dead mode in a second. He can teleport. What is he doing? Big old Stormblade shot there. That was an overcharged shot, which disables the weapons for a while. Now the Force Commander runs away. Steel may go down. Is Fleshrick available? I don't think Fleshrick would do it though. No. Land Raider Redeemer pushes. Just retreated back to the Land Raider, of course, the Force Commander there. The Land Raider doesn't provide percentage-based healing though, like the base does, so the Terminator Force Commander, it might take a while to heal up off that. Teleports back again. Meanwhile, blue team having to get their natural VP back because this sneaky Ravener Brood model got it. These guys with enhanced muscle coil, so they themselves will benefit from the adrenal glands, melee synapse. Carnifex on the way for Dark Riku. A Leman Russ now for Kesuga. This side is turning quite beefy for the blue team all of a sudden. Stormblade, Land Raider, soon to be Leman Russ. Big shot from the Stormblade there. Quite nasty. Terminator Force Commander just hangs out and dies. Lictor Alpha getting a kill. Almost level 3 is Dark Riku there. 195 to 350 on the VPs. They can use Terrify to just get rid of the Bullgrins now, who are being infiltrated by Silently. They can find the Carnifex, but they want to go for the Zone Thropes. You don't have shields up. And there's use your shield. Oh, and the Lictor Alpha's run, so he can't use the Terrify. One Zone Thrope goes down. Inquisitor's going to get a revival. Level 3 now. With the Servo Skull. Look at the Bullgrins messing up that Carnifex, eh? Gets the Venom Cannon, which is a smart choice, I think, against these big super heavy vehicles. And now the Leman Russ is here. No upgrade yet, though. On the east side, we have a Fire Prism. Double Fire Dragon still as well. And Great Unclean One on the way, and a Swarm Lord on the way. So all kicking off. And we got some Terminators in for Peroncho. They've gone for the Cyclone Missile Launcher. Very popular choice these days for those guys. It's a bloody good weapon. Fire Dragons run. Other Fire Dragons don't. And finish the Power Bash while the Fire Prism knocks stuff over. Here's Peroncho to try and help out with the double tax. No war gear for these guys, eh? Just got those bolt guns. Great Unclean One and Swarm Lord will hit the field at around the same time. Swarm Lord's going to hit it first. Central power now blue, by the way. And they still have this locked down with those infiltrated Bullgrins causing all sorts of problems. The Venom Brood will now spot them. If the Warrior Brood aren't around, maybe the Venom Brood will be. And Dark Riku can still terrify those guys. Again, they get infiltrated. 195 to 285. Dark Riku backing off. Where is that Lictor Alpha? Oh, prowling around near the blue team's natural VP, actually. Swarm Lord is in. Super unit for the Tyranids. Powerful melee combatant with some speed and reinforcement synapse bonuses, which is a big deal. Flesh hooked on those poor scouts. Cyclone Missile Barrage trying to save them with disruption. Are they going to make it out? Very close. They do make it out to the safety of the Land Raider Redeemer. Well, the relative safety. Leman Russ is a vanquisher, good at taking down large targets, such as the Swarm Lord, and the Swarm Lord does have vehicle armor on this thing. Has found a Terminator Force Commander to crack on. Imperial Guard in there too, as is the Lictor Alpha. That's not a power weapon though, is it? No. 189 to 269 on the VPs. Where's the Great Unclean One? That beautiful bastard. There he is, hanging out on the east side. Big Stormblade shot. Bulgrin's taking a bunch of damage. Oh, Leman Russ went down. Fire Prism coming in. Time Field to help to take it. And the Venom Cannon Carnifex doing big damage. Stormblade is quite low. Looks like the Carnifex is trying to get after it. And the Fire Prism with that awesome range doing some work as well. Rocket Run did not like the look of those Fire Dragons, and Rocket runs their faces. Can they get that Stormblade down? Carnifex is still trying to. Swarm Lord maybe going after it too. Carnifex, Bioplasma, gets it done. Carnifex now needs to leave. So that's big. Oh, Kesuga's got nothing on the field. I was going to say big blows for Kesuga, but they're down to just an Inquisitor now. Mostafa did get one of his Fire Dragons out. Chaos Sorcerer with the Curse of Icon of Tzeentch for the Curse of Tzeentch, and Vestments of the Warp, level 2. Another Leman Russ on the way for Kesuga7. Can the blue team carry Kesuga7 now as they recover? Still have a Land Raider Redeemer. Still got Terminators. Time Field is in, which is preventing these guys from firing. Force Commander, you okay, buddy? Double Fire Prisms now for Mostafa. Here comes the third one too. Oh, Kesuga7 a bit indecisive here. Cancelled the Leman Russ, started it again, cancelled it again. What are they going to go for? Looks like they want a big super heavy tank again. Maybe a Stormlord. Because there is a lot of infantry here. All these Tyranids can get some synapse explosions going. But they do have to deal with the big old beasties as well, and they're all vehicle armor, aren't they? What is the Great Unclean One doing? Still on the east side. This thing passively damages nearby enemies, has some nasty abilities and powerful melee. This thing, unlike the Swarm Lord, has super heavy infantry armor, so it can be vulnerable to plasma and melter and power melee. Speaking of, here comes some melter damage from those Fire Dragons. I mean, melter is good against vehicles as well, but it gets a damage bonus against the Great Unclean One's armor type. Warp gets him away for now, but will they give chase? 127 to 269 on the VPs. Do we have triple Fire Prisms? We do have triple Fire Prisms. We often see Fire Prisms do a pretty bad job, actually, in a 3v3. But these things have been amazing so far. Another Stormblade for Kesuga. I thought they'd go regular Baneblade, maybe. Oh, I don't think this big fella's going to get away, you know. Fire Prisms get it down. More Hormagaunts coming in for Mendicant bias, apparently. They just want to drown the blue team in teeth and claw. Great Unclean was going to have a good old chuckle and explode and heal allies. Would have damaged enemies if they were close, but they know to keep the hell away from that thing when it's laughing. 127 to 243. 2-1 for the blue team. Kesuga been with 0 units for a while, but they've held the west side. Inquisitor herself is level 5. Might be worth getting Purgatus now for those big fights, but has to spend his resources well, of course, Kesuga, and carefully. Every purchase absolutely vital when you've been depleted this way and have to recover. Another Swarm Lord on the way this time for Dark Riku. Missile launch attacks, getting some anti-vehicle damage in. Terminator Force Spawner trying to hold the front line. Did you just pop Battle Cry there? Yes. And there's a Cyclone Missile Launcher hit. Getting some good shots on the Swarm Lord there. Swarm Lord is now using Leech Essence to drain health and get some regen off these guys, though. Hormagaunts are indeed swarming the Terminators. Bunch of fire prisms coming in now. Those the guys need to leave. So do those guys. 118 to 225 on the VPs. Now it's a double for red. Stormblade is up. And the Swarmlord is getting low. That's a las cannon from those Havocs now. Going to get swarmed in a second, though. Can they get another shot? They can. Now they need to run, I think. Those guys needed to use their grenade barrage, but even if they did, the Tyrant Guard wouldn't have been stopped by it. I hear a time field somewhere. Where's Mostafa? Oh, it's probably over here. There's the old Stormblade. Have we seen an Eldritch Storm yet? There might have been one on the screen that I missed. I don't see the big swirly from the Eldritch Storm, though. Down to 55 VPs. Are the blue team. They get down one of the fire prisms. Kesuga with double heavy weapon squads to support here with las cannons. Force Commander with shield up. No, that's the Inquisitor with mandate trying to get the decap. Couldn't quite get it. Looks like the red team have this current of formation, and that's an Eldritch Storm as well. The red team have it. Kesuga, I think, needed to respond quicker with stuff to have a chance there, but it still would have been very difficult. A fun game, though. Inquisitor level 5 and down. Had that Terminator Force Commander. Peroncho going straight to tier 3 to get this guy. Did he really pay off with the Flamer? Not sure about that. A level 3 Chaos Sorcerer. Maybe should have grabbed the Robes of Torment for these big Tyranid melee armies. But the Vestments of the Warp is super useful basically all the time as well. Level 8 Farseer with Armor of Asuryan at the end. Lictor Alpha of Mendicant Bias level 4. Also got the Terrify at the end with Menacing Visage. I was switching back to Pheromone. And Dark Riku's Lictor Alpha level 3. Well, there you have it, guys. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this game, and I'll see ya next time.